What's going on, everybody? Drew Creel here. Welcome to Shred Sessions. We have a very special edition episode today. We've got Dissonation. We got Taylor Pace, James Hunt. Both of the boys from the band are here. They are releasing a new song. It's called Ignite Hell, and it's going to be out June 4th. And then they're playing a show at Eastside Bowl in Nashville, which you should definitely go to if you're seeing this. That's going to be the following day, Thursday, June 5th. At the 58 room at the Eastside Bowl. So, Dissonation, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, glad to be here.
Dude, this is exciting. I just listened to Ignite Hell, and my brain basically exploded. It's one of the most insane things that I've heard. This is not local band stuff anymore. We're not playing.
Dude.
We're not playing any games.
Thanks,
okay?
That's really nice of you to say, man. I appreciate that.
It's so well done. Like it's recorded, mixed, produced so well. I could tell you guys put a lot of time into it. I feel like there's at least 17 different breakdowns that are all unique in this song. Like
they're all kind of based around a central idea rhythmically, though.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's kind of one pattern. We like to do this thing where we take a core pattern and then we make different iterations of it. So the song kind of seems like it goes all these very random places, but it still feels tied together because there's a central theme that underlies everything.
Oh yeah, it's very cohesive. So talk to me about how this song came together. Like what was the writing process, recording process? Did you use real drums? Like let's get into all the nooks and crannies of that.
So usually a song will start like somebody comes up with a riff. It'll be either me or Adam or Nick will come up with a riff and kind of get an idea started. In this case, Adam was actually a really big part of, he came up with the initial like couple of riffs and we kind of just knew that they were gas like from the beginning. So, just super heavy, straight for the throat kind of stuff. And we just wanted a super heavy song. So it kind of came together. We stitch things together like over a very long period of time. It takes us a long time to write a song because they're just so dense. And
this is dense.
Yeah, we have a lot that we want to fit in to a song. You know, we have a person in our band, Nick, who plays saxophone, piano, guitar, and
I think it's easier to list instruments he doesn't play.
It's easier to list instruments that he doesn't play. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to hit all the stops. But
we got a deathcore band with a woodwinds guy.
Right. And brass.
And brass. Okay.
But yeah, this song is particularly dense on the drumming side for sure. Like a lot of bells.
Yeah, that's honestly the funny thing about this song is like it was like really kind of unclear in the beginning where it was going to go because there's some cool riffs and stuff and the structure wasn't there at all. But
James is a structure guy for sure.
There's a couple parts that like the drums were just like kind of random, to be honest. And The riff was cool. The riff was cool, but I was just like, I gotta do something else with the drums, and I wrote like one like weird like linear part, and I was like, this is cool, but I could do something else with it. And I was already like kind of working on reworking my kit at the time too, so I was like trying to figure out some.
I noticed that there's some. I don't want to give away any surprises. Like,
I mean, please do.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I feel like I don't want to. You know, like
well, that's fair.
There are a lot of cool bell parts.
Yeah.
There's a gong drum.
Yeah,
there's drum sounds I've never expected to hear in a deathcore song.
Heck yeah.
On this song.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we revealed that bell part already, so it's not a secret anymore. But the bell part is something that it took me a while to figure that out. It was actually like a hi-hat like ride groove at first, and then I was like, there's one Acacia Strain song that has some really cool bells in it. I was like, I want to do something kind of like that song.
Was that the fake drum part that I wrote, like the hi-hat thing, or was that something you were doing?
It was something I reworked entirely differently. Because it was one thing originally that was like just kind of
probably
random.
Really stupid. Yeah. Something really dumb that I made.
Some of the drums, I will say some of the drum programming that he does is actually pretty decent. Like they get the essential idea out there most of the time, but then I usually will come in and I actually have a lot of like structure.
You're like the superintendent to the construction site. You come in and you're like, no, we're not doing that. That sucks. Like this is all wrong. We just need to like.
Yeah, I will say the difference in our writing stuff is our writing perspectives is he's a lot more of a micro structure kind of guy.
Micromanager?
Well, I would say microstructure kind of guy. He's like very much.
I think vertically.
He's very much in the riff.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's very much thinking of like the notes of the riff and like where it could go. Where I'm thinking about like how this fits in the whole picture of the song. Because for me as a drummer, it's just kind of how I think about music in general, like when I'm thinking about
it's
it.
A fucking great song. It's
Thank you.
It's so good, man.
Heck yeah, thanks.
Like the bell thing is really cool to me because it's almost like an orchestral approach to drumming. Like it reminds me of like Chad Wackerman. And a lot, like, do you know who that is?
I think so.
He played drums for Alan Holdsworth for a while. I'm a huge Holdsworth nerd.
I talked to him. I talked about him with Naveen and BRANTRON actually a little bit.
Yeah, Holdsworth is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, any drummer that's played with him, you should definitely get hip to because they're all like gods. Vinny Colaiuta, you may have heard of him.
Yeah, Vinny Colaiuta.
But like, there was a period of time where Chad Wackerman was playing a lot of different like bells and accent cymbals and stuff like that. So I got really excited when I saw that in this song. There's a lot of different interesting timbres and sounds in the drum. The drum part is, I don't know how you could play that.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, the one thing
I
get burnout on nowadays is like every deathcore drum tone sounds the same. It seems like every
very different sounds.
Every kick sounds the same. Every snare bomb sounds the same. And like I just want, when I sit behind a drum set and I play a drum set, it sounds like a drum set and it sounds great to me. And then I listen to a record, I'm like, it doesn't even sound like the drums I'm listening to when I'm sitting there playing the drums. So I want it to sound when I'm listening to music. So that's why I want other people to experience my drumming as well, like the same way I hear it when I'm playing it, you know? So, I mean, there's obviously like some production tricks we still do, like we emphasize some of the ping in my snare a little bit, you know. Although it is tuned pretty high,
quantizing here and there,
and then like the gong drum, like it's really boomy, but like obviously we want to make it like an 808 almost sounding, kind of. So
it's dude,
I'm trying to do like an 808 without having to sample it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like an actual 808 type thing. So.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Approach, so.
No, I like that about you, man, because like I think a lot of drummers in this style of metal, whether it be tech death or deathcore, they kind of put these like preconceived like limitations on what they can do. So it's like, all right, well, I have to use triggers. I have to have like this particular like snare sound, you know. So it's refreshing to hear how you're using the drums like in this new song.
Thanks, man.
Just crazy. And dude, the vocals were just, you're crazy, man.
Thank you, man.
You're like 10x the vocalist that I. You know, from the time that I first met you, and you were sick back then, but like this new song is like, dude, I'm so hyped, right?
Dude, I've always known he had it. And it's funny because when we first started jamming, like it was him on guitar and me on drums,
right? And
that's how like Dissonation started, and eventually like he started doing vocals for like a different black metal project. For
kinda, yeah. It was like right before COVID. There's this black metal band called Ophusius. Shout out Ophusius, super cool dudes.
Shout out.
I just decided, you know what, like maybe I have vocals under control enough that I could probably do this gig. But then COVID ended up happening like right after the first gig that I did with them. And then they ended up going back with their old vocalist, but totally fine because I kind of wanted to focus on Dissonation. At that time, I was like probably working on too many projects at the same time. And once COVID happened, I think I gained a new perspective on how valuable my time is overall. And how I shouldn't take for granted the thing that I love, which is music. You know, we just started going to all of the shows basically once they came back.
Dude, I love that.
We just went to all the shows because you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to become friends with. I mean, we met our guitar player Nick at like a random gig.
Real quick, Taylor, pull that mic a little bit further away. That particular mic is like super hot. And you're a deathcore vocalist, so
I'm a loud guy.
So you're blowing it up a little bit. So that should be cool right there, man. Yeah. So yeah, I love that about you, man. You go to, I see you at all the shows.
All the shows.
I don't go to as many shows.
You're in Clarksville, so it's a bit of a hike for you to get to
weekday
one.
Shows are hard for me. I can do like the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday stuff from time to time, but that really is the key to like being connected to the metal scene. Whether you're in a big band or a small band, if you're going to shows. And like, I would recommend bringing a friend or two because it's a lot more fun.
It gets to a point where you don't have to though.
Right.
Where like for me now, I can just go to a show and I'll see somebody there that I already know. So it's like I don't even need to ask.
After a while, you'll make friends. You'll see a lot of the same people.
But it's like
shows.
That's one of the main things I tell people when they're asking me for advice about how to start a band or how to get involved with a project. I say the first thing you need to do is make demos or record yourself doing covers, you need to have something to prove that you are a musician that can play stuff and write stuff. And then the second thing you need to do is just go to shows and talk to people. And then it literally will just fall in your lap if you do that.
Well, I think also like the material that you make also should align with what you want to do as well. You want to find the right people to do what you want to do as well. So like me and Taylor were going to a bunch of shows, and we went to go see one of his friends' bands at the Cobra, and that's when we ended up meeting Nick, our guitar player.
You guys didn't get killed at the Cobra?
I know, surprisingly.
We don't have a
speaking of the Cobra,
story, unfortunately.
Last time I saw you play a couple weeks ago, I was at the Cobra with that guy.
Yeah, you protected my wife from being it's a whole thing.
That was the whole situation,
you, dude. Like, I mean, she talked about, like, Courtney talked about you a lot.
There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing else I could have done. Like, I was being an asshole. I mean, it's just like I was just pushing him off me. If anything, I was like, get away from me, dude. Yeah, like, what are you doing? The Cobra,
and like, no shade to anybody that plays there or has a show coming up. Like,
they need to figure some stuff out.
It's just hit or miss, man. Like for some reason, like that particular venue attracts a lot of just BS, man.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is bar patrons, like, they will see that there's a metal show or some, crazy show going on, and they'll kind of stumble in, and they see people moshing. They've already had like 5, 6, 7 drinks. Who knows how many? Maybe they've done some cocaine. I don't know. And they like don't understand what's happening, and then they get like pissed off when someone bumps into them, or they go and try to mosh themselves, and then like an experienced mosher moshes on them.
Pits don't really happen there much anyways. Like, I've been to a handful of shows that were like decently packed out, and usually the pits are just not not it there. I don't know.
That place is great for like indie rock and punk shows and like psychedelic rock shows, like do that. But metal shows there, I've never heard one that sounded good.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe like when Life Cycles and No Cure played there, it sounded pretty good that night. But like,
I didn't see that one.
It was that
I'm
was
sure that was great.
That was a fun show.
The night they got stabbed.
Actually, Moru played, I think.
Oh yeah, was
it the night they got stabbed?
I mean, it might have sounded good, but
that's the night that someone. That was the night.
Was it worth it?
We were at Louder Than Life, I think, when they got stabbed.
Oh, that's right.
Like, I was at Louder Than Life, like, oh my god, No Cure got stabbed in Nashville.
They made a badass T-shirt from it though.
I have it. I have one.
You have that?
Yeah,
nice.
They printed it on Comfort Colors, which is like, if you're making merch, do it on Comfort Colors. Those are my favorite. When I'm like looking through my closet, I'm just like, I'm gonna wear that one today.
Nice.
Yep. But anyway, the Cobra on this particular night, it was pretty low key show. Honestly, like there wasn't like a ton of people there, but there was a decent amount of people.
Yeah, it was enough for sure.
People were moving. People were excited to be there, and this guy who was maybe in his
40s, 50s.
Mid 40s, 50s, which that's fine. I don't care. Like, I love old dudes that love metal. Usually they're like chill, but this guy he was double fisting beers, like, for some reason, and he got too drunk. And during my band's entire set, when Proselyte was playing, he's like shouting things out. Like, he was telling everybody that they had small dicks and stuff.
The first thing that happened is the guy, there was not really a pit happening, and the guy was trying to force a pit. And that's the thing that drives me crazier than anything is like, dude, read the fucking room.
Yeah.
Right. But he was drunk and obviously trying to force a pit, and nobody wanted to mosh with him because he was being a drunk asshole. And because no one would mosh with him, he started saying they all had small dicks. And we're like, dude,
he really took out his phone and started and he did this to everybody, filming everybody.
I posted a clip of your band on my story, and I didn't realize till after, like the next day, that he comes in like the corner. And he's like,
oh yeah. I tried. I was making a YouTube video the other day about the wireless unit that I used, and like I couldn't find a clip without that guy in it. You know, I was like, dang it. But something needs to be figured out with Cobra. I think if you are going to do a metal show there, my recommendation would be to like put a couple friends on security that like are responsible for keeping things cool there. I think it's 100% essential. Obviously, hiring security is going to cost money. A lot of promoters in town that I know aren't going to want to spend like $200-300 on hired security. But
it's unfortunate though, because I have a guy that sits there and takes money, and you think he could do something about,
just the response to this guy who is way out of line, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't know what to like. I had to listen to my wife tell me how afraid she was for like a couple days. So I had to see things from her perspective, and like, how would you feel if you were a woman at a show and someone grabs your boob or walks up to you It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It shouldn't happen at all.
It should not happen, man. Like, and what I wanted to do was get off stage and not stop playing and beat the shit out of that guy.
I think everybody was this close.
But if I didn't have a job, I was gonna kick his ass. I was like, I gotta go to work, but
I'm self-employed, so I probably could have done it. But I don't know. I try to stray away from that kind of action.
Well,
and
he deserved it,
but
though.
Still, he did deserve it. Like, if somebody decked him, I don't think anybody would have.
Everybody would have clapped.
The most responsible thing to do would have been to just call the police. Like, hey, I'm at the Cobra. Or
just get the venue staff involved.
They didn't handle it though.
But the who I presumed was the owner or like the main bartender that night came into that room and just gathered cups and then left. That was his way of checking on what was going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't come in and stand and watch. Like, just like, it was just disappointing, man. Like, and like Cody's doing a great job with shows. Cody Bloom.
Oh yeah, we love Cody
from Shuttle City. Like, he's really trying to bring back like as many shows as possible to try to, we're trying to make a scene here. We're trying to do things. And,
he's clearly passionate about the scene.
Exactly. He's been a part of it since the beginning, man. He played in the same band I did when I moved to town. A few months before I did, I believe. So
nice.
But
he's hit us up about a handful of shows, but a lot of them just don't work for us, like date wise and stuff. So we've been trying to work with him, but we'll get something figured out.
Yeah,
no, we finally locked one in.
Got one in,
in August.
Well, it's unannounced. Yeah,
I think it's unannounced, but there's a show in August.
Dissonation will be playing in August. You heard it here first.
We actually have a lot of shows planned coming up, which feels great because we kind of took a break from playing shows for a little bit just to kind of like reset, get our bearings straight a little bit, and but it feels good to have a couple coming up and not have to worry about recording songs and like that side of things. It feels like every stage of being in a band, I'm always envious of the next stage. When we're playing a bunch of shows, I'm like, God, I'm exhausted. Like, can't we just chill and write some music? And when we're writing music, I'm like, gosh, I'm so sick of writing music. Can't we just get it recorded already? And then when we're recording, I'm like, God, I just want to put this song out. So I can show people what I've been working on this whole time. And so, it keeps going. You have to enjoy the journey, of course, but like it's
Dude, you do have to learn how to enjoy it, but there's so many aspects of making a band work, man. And,
there are,
and like,
especially if you want to do it right.
You can go through those cycles of like writing, recording, releasing, playing shows, and not have anything really happen to your band.
Well, one of our biggest reasons why we've kind of like taken a break is we had a member change lately, so that was that was a first for us. We haven't really had to swap out any members since we started. So
and basically just to clue everybody in, Adam is leaving the band amicably.
He brought it up actually. It was he's the one that initiated the leave.
He basically just has some job opportunities he wants to pursue. He's probably going to be moving states pretty soon, and he kind of thought it made more sense just to kind of move on. And we're bringing on BRANTRON, which is
heck yeah, dude,
so sick. And
EBBB.
our EBBBB. And our last, so Adam's last show will be this upcoming one on the 5th, and there's a surprise, appearance from BRANTRON at the end.
Oh,
so
sick,
it'll be
dude.
Fun.
Dude, I've known BRANTRON for maybe 5 or 6 years. He's an incredible musician, one of the best musicians that I know. Like, he doesn't just play metal, he plays jazz.
He shreds.
He knows like country, like Travis picking guitar.
Well, that's honestly one of the reasons that appealed to us about BRANTRON is that he's very much like Nick.
Because Nick also has perfect pitch. BRANTRON has perfect pitch.
Oh my God.
They both kind of talk a language that we
symphony.
Only know a couple words of, basically, by comparison. I mean, like,
both of our guitar players are insane now. It's like kind of ridiculous. So
and I still write a lot of the guitar parts, so I'm kind of at a point where I'm feeling like, damn, like, I mean, Adam's a shredder too. That's the thing.
Adam rips, dude.
Oh, yeah, he's so good.
Adam and I have a similar mindset around riffing where it's not as like mechanically like theory based. I don't know what note I'm playing when I'm playing it. I'm not thinking about that. Even if I do know it, I'm not thinking about that. That's not what's going on in my head.
BRANTRON knows every note on the fretboard.
We have a weird tuning system too. So it's drop A flat, 7-string tuning, and then we pitch shift down all over the place. In this new song, we pitch shift kind of like just wherever we feel like it, because our live set is now automated. So the pitch shifts are automated. We don't have to tap anything with our feet.
Yeah, we changed our in-ear rig to XFX 4 now. Is that what it is?
3.
XFX 3 now.
I don't think the 4 exists.
XFX 9. Dude.
XFX 9.
I'm not a guitar player. I was trying to the newest one, whatever. But yeah, Nick would end up going in and doing all like the MIDI guitar changes and stuff. So we were like, let's go as thou as we can for this next
exactly.
song.
But BRANTRON said that it was kind of like a kind of mind fuck for him a little bit, because he has perfect pitch and he's used to playing in standard. So his brain has an association with where his finger is, what note is supposed to happen. I do not have that. I'll just tune my guitar wherever. I'm just thinking about where I am on the fretboard, I guess. But I think I chose that tuning system just for the sake of being weird.
So is it the entire guitar is down a half step, and then your lowest string on a 7 string is A flat?
Correct.
So it's like you're like in
it's drop A, but minus 1/2 step every string.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then we pitch shift.
People call it G sharp. You know, sometimes.
G sharp. Yeah, sure. But yeah, we pitch shift wherever, which kind of helps change the key center, which is something that doesn't happen that often in like the core genres, where the bottom string is just kind of the whole deal. Like everything is centered around this fulcrum of the bottom string. But the way you get around that is pitch shifting. I mean, you're still doing the same shapes of riffs where you have this open string just there for you, but you can still kind of get a lot of different color out of the songs and a lot more melodic movement, because like deathcore is not very melodic usually. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like I stole that idea from like Viljarta, Humanity's Last Breath. Like I saw them do it and I was like, that's sick. Let's do that.
Yeah. That's, I mean, the first band that I heard about that did like the program changes was like Meshuggah. You know, like they've been doing that for a long time. And then obviously Buster, you know, that's what they do in Humanity's Last Breath, and I'm sure Viljarta is similar.
Meshuggah's my favorite band of all time. Easily,
same, dude. Same. Like, yeah. So when I found out that like they weren't using pedal boards, you know, to do their like patch changes, or when he goes to a solo, it's just automatically like timed. Mm-hmm. I think that makes playing live so much easier as a guitar player. You know, I mean, I love individual pedals, but we're not playing country music here, guys. We're playing like the most extreme stuff that you can think of. You know, so last thing you want to do is worry about a wah pedal or a pitch shift manually with your foot.
Yeah, well, for us too, like we played Louder Than Life, and we were playing this giant stage, and there was some points like where we had our guitar player like scratch the strings like in a moment of silence on accident. So now we have all that completely silenced. Like, and there's
if there's like prolonged silence, we like bottom out the volume automation so that
there's no extra noise.
There's just no extra noise on accident and stuff.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a plan B if that rig goes down?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Need to get insurance on that.
That's the only thing I'm afraid of. You know, like for bands that do that is, having a redundancy or having a way to play your songs without the computer.
Yeah, if our in-ear rig goes out, we're just pulling a falling reverse and canceling.
Right, yeah. We don't have a bass player, so...
Yeah, fair enough.
We literally don't have a bass player.
So we're pretty reliant on it. And our songs are honestly pretty impossible to play without click tracks, because there's so many moments where there are like prolonged weird amount. There's like, I don't know, 5 seconds, and it's like a 7.5 beat pause or something really stupid like that. And we can't do that without our cues, and like we're just that type of band. I'm all for bands that can play raw. I like a lot of bands like that. I don't know, like Kubla Khan, for example, or any bands in the sort of more hardcore space. But I think it's really about what serves your artistic vision and your music. And for us, it's definitely the higher production value stuff. Kind of works better
eventually
for our style.
You'll have lights, and you'll time your lights. Well, you already have lights.
We already
you'll
have
bigger lights one day.
We'll have more lights.
Yeah, we actually got more lights now.
We just got more lights. Yeah,
sick.
Yeah, so it'll be.
I love that. Yeah, I think what's cool about what you're doing is you're utilizing technology, right, to a further extent. And I think a lot of guitar players don't utilize the technology like at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Some overuse it, I think, too. There's definitely like a point of where it's like there's a spectrum of permissibility with these kinds of things. Like I'm pretty particular about backtracking vocals. I don't like there to be backtracked vocals live unless it's like a very specific effect or something like that. But I don't want to add layers to my voice live.
Yeah.
But that's just my own preference. Like I can totally see somebody adding, layers to their vocals live and it serving that artistic vision. If they have nothing to prove, then whatever, I think people get too wrapped up in these kind of arguments of like purism versus like modernist, modern technology versus old school, keep it raw. Like, I don't know. I feel like we spend too much time on that conversation.
Just make stuff. Yeah.
Just make stuff and
quit arguing about it.
Make fun stuff.
And make something. Like, there's some effects pedals that have like an entire album in them. You know what I mean? You just have to fucking put the work in and figure out how to use that stuff. But a lot of technology is just tragically underutilized. I feel like people just aren't they're not learning their Axe effects. They're not learning their DAW, and learning how to actually like tap into its full. But there are people that are, and I would say like the Meshuggah guys, they're using. I mean, they've always been on the forefront of guitar technology.
They've been 20 years ahead at all times.
And to me, that like if you think about Alan Holdsworth, like I mentioned him earlier. I mean, his rig changed like every couple years since the 70s. He's always incorporating the newest technology, and he made it sound good. It didn't matter if he was playing through a Yamaha Magic Stomp or an Axe FX 2. That guy, I mean, he's no longer with us, but he used technology and incorporated it into his music and to me, he's the most influential modern guitarist, and he's influenced. Meshuggah. There would be no Meshuggah without him, it's true. In my opinion.
The solos would at least sound very different.
Yeah. But I think just the fact that he exists, it makes people think about what's possible in music, And listening to your song, I'm not trying to blow smoke at you guys. Like, it really kind of expanded my brain. I was like, oh, dude, you can do this in death. It wasn't like, oh, another deathcore song. It was like, whoa, like
thank you.
They're expanding the genre,
Yeah, dude, thank you. That's a huge compliment, man.
Seriously.
We care about having a unique identity to the music. That's like a very, very important thing to us.
I think it's also one of the most frequent compliments we get about our music as well, is that our music's unique, which I love that compliment. So, because I don't want to sound like anybody else.
Because there's like so much stuff
unique
out there.
Yeah.
I think the key is just drawing your influence from a lot of places and just generally having the mindset that you don't have to operate within the confines of your particular subgenre. Like, deathcore is a big part of our sound. Prog and like genty stuff kind of is too. We're very influenced by like the 2010s Sumerian bands.
Yeah. Huge.
Very big influences there. Bands like
shout out Sumerian.
Yeah, like Periphery and Animals as Leaders, and we like the Contortionists a lot. They're not a Sumerian band, but still.
Contortionists is probably my favorite band of all time.
Structures. Did you guys ever listen to
love
Structures back in the day?
Dude, I listened to so
is
much
awesome.
Structures. Yeah, Divided By is one of the best.
Their new stuff is great too.
Yeah. When that stuff came out, that was crazy.
Or that new EP, that shit slaps.
Born of Osiris too, like that stuff.
There's just something about those early Sumerian Records bands. Like, all of them were doing a similar thing. They're doing the sort of breakdowny prog metal thing.
After the Burial too. We talked about them a lot on the Waste podcast.
They all have their own unique identity though. Like, After the Burial isn't a lot like Veil of Maya, and Veil of Maya isn't a lot like Born of Osiris. They have common threads, but all of these bands have such a distinct sound that if you listen to a second and a half, you would know like immediately, oh, this is Veil.
Or that's the Faceless. I know that's kind of a different thing. That's like more tech death, but
even still, they were not strictly tech death though. They had a lot of more jazzy and more like rhythmic kind of modern sensibilities to them that a lot of like normal run-of-the-mill tech death bands would not have. Like, their mix had a much more modern approach to it, which is why they could fit on a bill with like Born of Osiris, for example, whereas I don't know, Origin maybe not.
Right.
I love Origin, but they wouldn't, more their fan base probably wouldn't really mess with like the core stuff as much usually.
Yeah, man. It's funny you mentioned that because I feel like there has been this shift in heavy music where it's like we're going to make the most pure death metal thing. We're going to make the most pure hardcore thing. We're going to play old school hardcore. You know, that at least that's how I see it. But I've never viewed music like that. You know, and I love pure death metal. You know, Hate Eternal is one of my favorite bands. But I think you have to think outside the box and you have to incorporate different things like listen to classical music, man. Like all the great music, it's already been written. You know what I mean? And if you tap into that stuff, whether it's modern classical or like, I don't know, romantic era stuff, like it's going to influence what you write and what you hear in your own music. And you guys happen to have a classical musician in your band. And now with BRANTRON,
basically
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Like basically two classical musicians. I guess Nick is more of a actually, I don't know, he's involved with like the symphony, right?
The Nashville Symphony.
So
he's in the choir.
He's very much a classical
you guys
musician.
went to a concert of his, right?
Yeah.
You guys go see him sing. That's awesome. Yeah, so Taylor, I was curious, man, like you were the first guest on the show, and thank you for doing that. And like
it was an honor.
My wife still talks about you like, oh, Taylor, I love him so much. He's so great. Since that time, which was a little over a year ago, that was like spring of 2024.
Oh wow, has it been that long?
Yeah,
crazy.
You've been really growing on social media, man. Like you've been really connecting with people, and it's been cool to watch, man. It's been really like exciting to like know someone that's like investing in that. And like it's my understanding that like you're teaching vocal lessons full time now, so you're able to support yourself with that. So walk us through that process. Like what made you want to do that? How would you recommend that other people kind of go about creating authentic content that like can actually get some views? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So yeah, I was working at AT&T in a sales job that I did not like for the most part. I was not having a good time, particularly at the end. There were some things about it that were fine, but I like talking to people already. So, but selling people cell phones, not the greatest. So I was pretty miserable, and I just knew that I needed a change. So at one point, enough was enough. I had built up enough savings to survive however long it would take me to get a new job. So I just quit. And before I started applying to new jobs, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just see how my time would work out if I just did exactly whatever I wanted to do, so long as it's productive. You know, obviously if I did whatever I wanted to do, I would just play video games and drink beer. But I specifically set up like a work day schedule. Like I slept in still, but you know, I would try to work a considerable part of the day on making something cool. And it started out with like just a couple goofy memes and guitar content and just stupid ideas that I had written down in my notes from however long ago. And then I started to make vocal tutorial content. And I had dabbled in vocal coaching before. You know, I had tried to teach some friends. I had given a few lessons before just to see.
Well, you mentioned that on that first podcast. If you go back and watch that, you're like, I just want to teach people like how to do metal vocals. And I was like, well, you should do that, man.
I've known that I've wanted to do it for a while, but I didn't feel confident enough in my own ability to convey the information because vocals are really complex. And the more I've learned about vocals, the less confident that I feel in my answers. So when people ask me questions like, is that fry? Is that false chord? I'm kind of more hesitant to give them a direct answer now because there's so much in this hybrid space. But anyways, not to sidetrack too much, I started making vocal content. It started doing really well. And my business like started picking up like crazy. And particularly a few videos just absolutely popped off. I didn't really expect it. And I stopped trying to apply to jobs at all. I was like, this is the thing. I thought I was going to have like a long period of like, oh, I got to work at least, I got to do Uber Eats for a while or something like that.
Well, you did have an incentive, right? I mean, you were trying to avoid going to business school, right?
Yes, that was the other thing. I was going to go to business school to get the same degree that he got.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this for a long time, but he's like been wanting to quit his job, and we've been talking about the grad program that I went to. So I had my master's in music business from Belmont, and he was talking to me about that for a while, and eventually, like, he quit his job because he was going to go to business school, and then started doing the content, and
pretty much
all fell into place. So.
Yeah, I got accepted too, and I intended to go.
You should be right now, right?
Yeah, I should be there right now.
You know what they're going to tell you at business school? They're going to be like, you should make some content.
Literally.
That's the thing.
I'm not trying to discredit your degree, bro.
No. For his purposes, it like makes sense.
Well, I'm an accountant, so like you have to have certain qualifications to do.
Yeah, you're right for a major music.
You got to get some certs.
Label, so
yeah.
But yeah, I just started making content, and I enjoy making content. Like, I've gotten decent at it through Dissonation, through having to learn how to promote the band, learning how to edit videos, and getting a feel for what things make sense to do in terms of engagement and retention. Like, retention is really everything. If people swipe away after a couple seconds, that's gonna Instagram is just gonna think that your video sucks, basically. So
yeah, that's a big metric in like getting the algorithm to like push your stuff out is video completion. So like a completion rate, like my stuff is at like 40%, which means like people watch 40% of my stuff.
Yep.
And then they like swipe off or click off of it, which it's fine. Like,
I think you have to just be authentic. I think that's one of the main things.
Yeah,
you have to find what's your personality and how do you put that into social media format. And some people will complain about social media and think it's a drag, and it totally is. I get it, and it's not good for mental health, and for a lot of reasons. I found myself kind of watching the numbers tick up one by one. I'll like check my phone again, like, how many do I have now? But then at a certain point, I realized like this is just like, what's the point
silly,
of doing
man?
this?
Post and ghost and get back to work. That's
if the app goes down, who am I? Like, the follower count is useful for promoting my vocal business and promoting the band, but at the end of the day, if the grid goes down, I'm just another dude. So it's hard to not get wrapped up in the numbers and to get wrapped up in what people comment, because everybody's going to have their opinion. But you have to do it for the love of the game at the end of the day, and find a way to make it fun. If you don't like making social media content, there's a way to make it fun. You just have to kind of get the ball rolling with it. I try not to take things so seriously. I try to be silly. I try to make jokes, and I think that kind of resonates with people. And honestly, the biggest thing though, out of everything, outside of best practices or the actual quality of my content, I think there's just a massive void for vocal content with screaming. There's not a lot of people that know how to teach people how to do this.
Right.
It's a very nebulous and vaguely defined field that has not been studied nearly enough. We have like 2 terms to describe basically, like, I don't know, 100 different techniques, what it feels like. Yeah. It's probably an exaggeration, but the point is, like, fry and false chord do not describe every category of screams that there are. There's so many more terms that we need to describe the nuance of it. But
you should write a book, dude.
I'm not an ENT, so I don't, I'm just a guy who learned how to scream that has kind of figured out how to teach people how to scream. And I've picked up bits and pieces of like anatomy, science, as it relates to screaming on the internet, but I'm not an expert on that. I don't have a degree to show for it, so anytime I tell somebody, oh, you're probably using your false folds when you do that, it's grain of salt, because I don't have a camera down my throat to see what I'm doing.
Right.
And I don't have one down yours to see what you're doing either. So,
but they've got one down Will Ramos.
They did do that. So I'm kind of excited
the charismatic voice, right?
Yeah.
Have you checked out some of that stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the other stuff they're doing. Apparently they got Phil Bozeman and
cool.
Maybe I think they got Mark from Cardivox Academy as well.
Dude, it'll be cool to see how it's different on like a scientific level. Like, this is what Phil's voice box does, and this is what the what I mean. Like,
well, they realize that people are very different in how they approach the same type of sound. You'll take two people that both think that they're doing a false chord scream, and you stick a camera down their throat, and it looks way different. Like they're doing it an entirely different way, even though they're achieving a similar kind of sound that would get the same category label normally. But yeah, I can nerd out about vocals like all day. Like,
dude,
I do it for a living now, which is great. So.
No, it's awesome, man. And the vocals on the new song are freaking unhinged.
Thanks,
bro. Like it's you, man. Like you're a unique vocalist.
Dude, someone just commented on one of his videos the other day. They're like, they're gonna consider you one of the top 5 deathcore vocalists of all time. Oh, and I swear to God, he's right, man.
That was one of my students, by the way.
We already got Taylor in the top 5. Everyone, vote for your favorite deathcore vocalist.
Eventually,
I think he was just trying to gas me up a little bit.
Trying to gas him up.
Yeah.
No, dude. Honestly, I've always known this guy was gonna be a great vocalist. Like since I first saw him perform with his other band, Relatable Action Star, where he played bass, I was like, this dude needs to be a frontman. What is he doing? And like literally, I had to convince him to be the frontman of our band.
I kind of was married to the instrument of guitar first because that's the one I picked up when I was 11, and it was kind of wrapped up in my identity. So I had trouble at first separating myself from the guitar player identity, and vocals were foreign to me. I wasn't confident enough at the time in my ability to do it, because I technically consider Dissonation like my first project as a vocalist. Like I did one gig with a black metal band, I guess, but really Dissonation was my first like real experience being a vocalist in a band. And I'm really glad that he talked me into it, because I enjoy it quite a lot. Like there's a certain freedom that you have on stage. It's also nice showing up to practices and gigs with, I got my microphone,
Yeah, lucky you.
And that's all I got to do.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
But yeah, honestly, I couldn't really see anybody else doing vocals for our band, because I mean, we started the project together, and like we've always had like a specific direction we wanted for the band, and to like put someone else up front in that direction just felt weird, So I was like, I'm the guy sitting behind the kit, like holding everything down. Taylor needs to be the guy up front presenting everything, and whoever plays guitar, I don't care. But that was my kind of mentality back then. I was like, Taylor needs to be the front man. Like I don't care who plays guitar, he needs to be the front man.
Well, you're just a charismatic person, man. Like you're approachable. Like you connect with people. You're connecting with people on the internet, and you're just a likable guy. You were like one of the I went to a show with like the first show that Proselyte played with you guys. Filth. You were like the first dude that I started talking to, and I was like, I like talking to this guy. This is actually, fun. I
like talking to you too, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sweet. I feel like something that really disappoints me, not to like, I'm kind of a negative guy, I'll be honest, but something that kind of disappoints me about local scenes and small bands is like there are bigger egos with smaller bands than there are with bigger bands, dude.
Don't get me started.
And people like you show up with your local band to a local Nashville show, and the other local bands, if you don't know them, you don't talk to them. You just fucking ignore them and act like they don't exist.
Yeah. And
that just blows my mind. Like, I'm like, dude, you're nobody just like me, man. How about that? How about like we're all nobody?
Yeah, I don't want to be talked to like I'm above.
Yeah,
it makes me feel weird.
Like
honestly,
we're all people, and then like that same band I was in, Proselyte. We played a show with Born of Osiris, and I'm talking to Cameron Loesch and Lee from Born of Osiris, and like it was just a very normal, like approachable conversation. So
yeah.
If there's anything I'd like to change about the scene, and this is not like at every show, because I think as I'm playing more shows, I'm meeting more people, and the podcast is helping me meet more people too. But it's just something I've kind of like, I'm reading the room and I'm like, man, what is this, like this freaking ego, dark energy that people are putting out? Like it's just ridiculous.
I think art breeds that.
Yeah, I feel like from promoters too sometimes. I'm like,
my favorite thing is you show up to a show to load in, and the promoter doesn't talk to you
literally
for at least like an hour. They're
it's
busy.
Like I've been emailing you back and forth for the past several weeks and months.
Promoting your show.
Maybe I should run shows. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm getting a little heated right now. But if I was a promoter and all of the bands are starting to load in, I would be like, all right, who's playing tonight? Let's go over here and make a circle. I know that sounds lame.
Huddle up.
Let's huddle up like we work at Target or something, which I used to. But anyway, like let's huddle up and let's talk about what the fuck is going on at this show.
Yeah.
And how it's going to run and where you're going to put your stuff. Like, but somehow that's impossible for any promoter that but they'll collect your money. They'll take all your friends' money.
They'll hope that you leave before you take your cut.
Yeah. They hope that you won't ask or like, so it's just like, come on, man.
One thing that drives me crazy about promoters is just like the vague offers. Like, I mean, we worked with Danny Wimmer Presents, which is a major concert promoter and festival promoter, and like just working with them and the level of professionalism.
You get to see how it really works.
Yeah, you get to see how it actually works and like the different things that go on in an actual like big show or a festival of that size. And then you work with a local promoter. It's just, hey, you want to put a show? It's just like, I
get it though, because like a lot of the bands they're hitting up like are not expecting it to get paid a single dime.
I get it. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's just the old guy in me coming out, but it's like I'm being reverted back to an 18-year-old, and it's my first fucking show in town.
Right.
Yeah. And you're gonna. That's how I like. It's like a homeostasis that you're taking me back into this environment. Like I'm bringing my Line 6 Spider to the gig. It's like, no, dude. I've been promoting this show for weeks, and I've texted all my friends, and you're gonna take their $20 bill.
Yeah.
All of them. And I'm going to get zero. In fact, I paid money to play this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I definitely have a lot of pet peeves with like the scene or whatever.
Yeah, like
my main gripe is genre, like minute differences in subgenres, not wanting to play shows with each other because like,
that's silly. Like, we need more mix.
A deathcore band and we're a metallic hardcore band, so we're not gonna like. Who cares? Like breakdowns and screams, so what? We got clean choruses over here and, more like tunnel throat growls over here. Like it's all like a lot of the crossover. I think people need to chill out with like, I understand why the terms are there because they help you find other bands. I use these terms. I'm a nerd. I like the etymology or whatever of metal.
Of course, man.
I think that's super
helps you understand things,
Yeah. And
well, it's by human nature we want to classify things, so
of course.
Try to get as specific as we can with our classification.
I don't like the take either where people are like, oh, dude, it's just metal. Like, we don't need subgenre categories. Like, we kind of do though, because there's a lot of differences.
This isn't
that are
Creed
worth
and Breaking
recognizing.
Benjamin, man.
Yeah,
and some people think that that's metal.
It's like, okay, we don't need the genre classification. Let's set up a show with I don't know. Let's have Tool, and then we will have Infant Annihilator, and then we'll have Asking Alexandria.
That'd be a sick show.
Yeah. Like that wouldn't make sense. But the minute differences between genres that are like really close to each other, I don't understand why people like draw that divide so much. Ultimately, like people are going to do what they're going to do. Like musicians are dramatic, ego-driven people. It's a very egotistical thing in general to say, look at me. I want to be on that stage and I deserve to be there, and watch me try to be really cool and check out this like really edgy photo of us standing in front of an abandoned thing or whatever. That's all very, vain inherently. So I definitely understand why the types of characters that get into this tend to be like that. But ultimately you can't control what other people are doing. I feel like we just try to focus on what we're doing for the most part. We talk plenty of shit, behind closed doors. Like if something goes down, we'll be chatting about it. Who doesn't? But at the end of the day, we try to like be cordial, out in the public. We don't want to ruffle feathers.
Sure, man. Like I can come off as an asshole, and I probably did just a minute ago. But the reason why
dude, you suck.
The reason why I am like that is because I want better. Yeah, like for the people that are coming to the show, and I want better for the bands, and I want everyone to make a little bit. Just $50 would be great.
I'm with you, man. I'm very much like
for
that.
gas money. You know, even if you're at a there's no such thing as a local band in Nashville, man. Everyone lives, 50 to 100 miles from the city center where the shows take place.
Yeah,
unless you're Dissonation. We all live in East Nashville.
True.
Well, if you're in East Nashville, congratulations.
Yeah,
but it's like, I just, the reason why I get so like fed up about that is like we could treat each other better, man.
Yeah, you just want better for the scene.
We could have a better scene.
Yeah.
And like you'd be excited to like play with that other small band that, because you really don't know who is gonna get their break, like, and so you treat everybody the same and you treat everybody fairly, and you make some friends, know.
It's just like unfortunate because like he was saying too, we've had like promoters in town kind of say they didn't want to book us because we don't like fit the style that they book, and it's just like we've played with like with other bands like outside of our genre. Like Legacy booked us for the Surface show. We had Officer Down was on that show, and they're like great hardcore. Which
Officer Down is sick.
We love that.
I love that.
That's a sick name, isn't it?
It's a great name. But to be honest, I'm more like I played deathcore, like proggy deathcore and Dissonation. But like if I had to like identify like as genre or whatever, I'm more of like a metalcore, hardcore drummer at the end of the day. If I had to like pick like a genre. So I mean, he can tell you, I'm not
anymore, bro. Not with those bells and that gong drum.
Yeah, I mean,
you're a prog.
You're pretty groovy though. Like
I'm a pretty groovy drummer.
Yeah, you're not like a tech death style drummer.
I'm not
where you're just like heel toeing everything and gravity blasting every part. But
like I mean, like if I'm playing music for fun, I play like hardcore or something like that. Sometimes it's like easy to play, but just like I can slam my sticks into my drums. Sometimes like
I love it.
I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. There's just a lot of like, I don't even know how.
You're bringing the feel, man.
I get a lot of the feel. I get a lot of my
gotta play with feel.
I get a lot of like, bro. I get a lot of expression and like drumming is a great outlet for me. Is what the word I'm looking for.
Cathartic.
I guess it's cathartic for me. Exactly. So like I like to play music where I can get that out of me. For example, like just like heavy like knock loose shit. Like I sit there and play that shit all day. There is like some metric modulation shit in that, which
we're pretty technical, but we try to have moments where it feels like it's feel based, whatever that means.
Well, let's just put it this way, man. Like your music's technical, but it's also just really tight, and it's like I've seen you guys live. I've heard your recordings. It's all in the pocket. It's what it needs to be. And you performed the drums on this new song, right?
Oh yeah, they're real. You
didn't program all that stuff.
No programming. Yeah, it's all recorded at Phoenix Studios with Seger.
There you go.
We actually mic'd up my whole kit, the new kit I have, with 24 microphones for this recording.
Dude.
It's insane.
I love it. Yeah, dude. Like, not all people can do that. Like it's expensive to do a drum tracking session. And for the Zaphon record, I opted to just program everything because it just saves so much time.
I don't blame anybody for doing it. Like,
I don't either.
Time, money.
If you are in a band with a drummer that cares about this stuff, and you can, we're talking about probably around $1,000 to $2,000 if you were going to track a full album. You know what I mean? Like if you have that amount of money, you can probably get like 8 or 10 songs tracked over the course of like 1 or 2 days. Most producers in town that have legit studios, that's typically the number that I've seen. So it's like not an impossible amount of money to come up with.
But it's not cheap though, yeah.
But also it's not, it's not inconsequential either. So dude, how did you start drumming, man? You're from, first of all, you're from like Montana?
No, I'm from Oregon, actually.
You're from Oregon, okay.
Yeah, so I was born in Oregon. I lived in Florida for a little bit as a kid, and then I moved back to Oregon and like lived the rest of my childhood basically in Oregon. And then went to college in Kentucky, got my accounting degree there at University of Louisville. I worked at EPS and did like the working at night and going to school during the day program.
Wow, dude.
So that was a lot. And then after I graduated there, I went to Belmont, got my master's degree. So kind of been all over the place. But
what's next? Saudi Arabia, Maldives, Japan.
I've moved around a lot. I mean, my office is based in LA, so maybe California. But
oh man, I wouldn't go near LA.
No,
you'd have to pay me to live there.
I mean, I do get paid pretty good to work for a company in LA. So I would if they did like require me, I probably would have to move because I got a decent job. But
yeah, you're doing statements for like Drake.
Not a bad place to be if you're in music, like in the industry.
Yeah, but I got into drums just like in band class. I it was like 5th grade. We had like the middle school come over and like do like an instrument day. And
this is a snare drum.
Yeah, they're like, this is a snare drum. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So then I signed up for band, and then I actually like, we did like auditions for drummers because everybody wants to be drummers in a band,
yeah, so. I remember like the presentation that you're talking about from the band director, and all of the kids like scooting their way up to the to be
smash things.
Closer to the drums.
Literally.
Like, please pick me, sir. Please.
Would you like clarinet or drums? Like obviously,
I'm ready to play drums.
Right. Yeah. So we had like auditions in like 6th grade when we first started in band class, and I remember I got first chair right off the first audition, and I held first chair like the entire time I was in band until I moved. So it was just like
badass from the beginning.
You still have it.
It was something that just kind of like came to me naturally. So I was like, damn.
First chair drummer in Dissonation.
Yeah, right.
Dude, your first chair now, bro.
Exactly, right.
You're the only person sitting down live, so.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I mean,
only chair as well.
I love it. So, but yeah, from there I started just playing like concert percussion, and then I got into jazz band, and I sat down at a drum set for the first time and was like, okay, this is it. Drum set is so sick. Oh my God, I love drums. So I got my parents eventually to give me this cheapest CB50 drum set from my uncle, which was like $25 that they paid him for it or whatever, and his trash can lids for cymbals, basically, like just the cheapest drum set you could find. But I practiced
those like cheap cymbals they're painful, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're the worst.
Honestly, I kind of love them now. Like it's like a full circle thing where now like I want one on my kid. It's like the trashiest cymbal possible. You know what I mean? But I love trashy cymbals nowadays. But
you have a lot of like MacGyvered, stacks and stuff.
I like to do my own thing. I have one stack that's like on a static hi-hat stand, so I can like keep it at a certain like looseness.
What's your cymbal brand, dude?
I love Zildjian, man.
Zildjian?
Yeah, the Zildjian says it's the brand it's a brand for serious drummers or something like that. It's like their tagline. It's like no, they say it's the only serious choice. That's what it is.
Oh, let's go, dude.
So Zildjian likes to throw the shade, but
everything else is just almost cymbals. Yeah. These are actually cymbals.
Yeah, Zildjian is the only serious choice.
I know, it's such an aggressive slogan.
Well, like Zildjian doesn't even like I've never seen them at NAMM here in Nashville or like the Music City Drum Show. They don't need to. They don't have to advertise.
Dude,
like that.
Jay Weinberg, who I used to kind of bump into him here and there at music stores and at shows. Mm-hmm. He was the drummer for Slipknot. You guys ever heard of Slipknot?
Who's that?
Yeah, it was
he's a hardcore Zildjian guy.
Oh,
like he doesn't consider any.
Well, he's got like
cymbals.
that signature effects bell now, which I've been considering getting one of those too.
You need at least one more bell.
Yeah, I actually used to work for Meinl. Yeah. When I first moved to town, I worked in the Meinl warehouse. Yeah.
Oh, sick, man. Yeah, I've had a couple other friends that worked there.
It was not for me. I mean, it's a warehouse job ultimately. So you could be doing a warehouse job for the coolest company in the world. It's still moving boxes.
You're still putting stuff in boxes. Yeah. Dude, I gave a Lyft ride to like the guy who runs that whole warehouse, like the main guy. I don't remember his name, but I gave him a Lyft ride.
Have you had Eugen on here yet?
Yeah, Eugen's been on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're like episode 6 or 7. Like they're kind of way back there.
Yeah. Brandon works for Meinl. I think he does all their
he does
videos.
Yeah, he was on the Nashville Drummers podcast.
He was, that's right.
Recently, just the other day. So check that out. Nashville Drummers podcast. My buddy Nathan Sletner does that show with another cat. His name escapes me right now, but dude, give us a quick rundown of your kit. Like what you like. I want every.
How many hours do you have?
I want every size. I want every freaking bell. I want everything mentioned, like listed off for all the drum nerds out there.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So I just upgraded this kit. I've been playing on the same PDP Platinum Series kit since I was like a sophomore in high school, and I played Louder Than Life with that kit. Actually, funny enough, but I finally upgraded last August to a DW Performance Series, and it's all satin black, which is chef's kiss. Love it. And then I have a brass snare, which is ridiculous. That thing rings out like no other.
What size?
It's 6.5 or 5.5 by 14 snare, and then kick is a standard 22, and then I got the 10, 12, 14, 18, I believe what it is, and then
you got an 18-inch floor tom.
Yeah, and then it's 16 actually, and then a 20 gong. And then, the 22. But
is the gong a DW drum as well?
Yeah, so it's a DW pancake gong drum. It's, no body.
You going to play live with that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely part of my kit.
He painstakingly has to assemble this kit every time.
It's a beautiful kit. But yeah, then I have a bunch of Zildjian cymbals. I got a lot of K customs and A customs that I use.
A's and A's, baby.
And then I got the Z custom ping ride as well. You gotta go crazy with that ping ride
for that ultra. That's like the most popular.
Or the Mega Bell is what it is. It's
that's
the
most popular ride cymbal for metal.
Oh yeah.
Like in the Metal Drummers Facebook group, Metal Drummer Nerds, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about that cymbal.
It's a great cymbal, though. I have like a love-hate relationship with it because it is so thick.
Pretty damn harsh sounding. Honestly.
You can't crash it really, and I am the kind of person that likes to crash my ride, but I like my ride on my crash to be ugly sounding. Like I don't want my Like they have the new projection ride that Craig Reynolds came out with.
I've heard that's great.
It's sick because you can play the bell and the bell sounds great, and you can ride it. It sounds like a ride cymbal. Then you can crash it. It's like a crash cymbal. But like for me, if I want to play a crash cymbal, I'll hit the crash cymbal.
Mm-hmm.
If for me, I use the crash on the ride that kind of sounds like shit as like a different texture. Like I play it in Demonize is one example. Like there's one part I'm playing like a little rim click, then I hit the ride and it's just like just kind of trashy. It's just like sounds like shit, but like that's what I want.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you can't really get that with some cymbals. So like the Mega Bill, for example, I can't really get that like ugly crash out of it because it's just like you can't even really hit it at all because it's so thick. So I'll even like swap out my ride even sometimes. I have a couple different rides that I use. So
ugly drums I think are coming back. Like the ugly ping is really popular now.
Oh, you're talking about like the tuned up snare drum?
Yeah.
I get more compliments on my snare.
Like Slam is coming back around, but in this like more hardcore context, like with Peeling Flesh and Snuffed on Sight.
People are cranking their shit up so high.
I love this new movement in particular because it like molds the identities of a few different like kind of legacy metal genres together.
Suffocation, you know, like their old snare drum sounds.
Yeah, it's like brutal death metal, but in a more modern style of writing songs. So it has kind of more rhythmic groove to it and stuff. I'm a huge fan of that.
To be honest, I'm mostly just inspired by Saint Anger.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right.
It's honestly all an homage to Saint Anger. Yeah. All of Dissonation's music.
Have you listened to Devourment?
Yeah,
any of that stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's got.
They're coming to Nashville in July, I think.
That's I need to be there
with Suffocation actually.
Oh my god, dude! I love Suffocation, dude.
It's awesome.
That band's really grown on me. I watched their like 2023 Brutal Assault video that's up on YouTube.
Yeah,
and I was like instantly a fan.
I like their bass player with the.
Oh yeah, dude! Come on, bro.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find any heavier bass technique than that.
His neck probably hurts so bad at this point.
I don't know how they do it, but like Terrence Hobbs, their guitar player, like so sick, nailing solos live, like that band rules. But yeah, I like the snare sound on Ignite Hell, like that, like it's an amazing.
It took
sound,
a while to
dude.
get there, I will say. Like I constantly have to pull teeth with some of the notes that I have for our engineers we've worked with. Because
we're so particular,
we're very particular, and we like to push things to the extreme sometimes. Like, you know, for example,
like past where a normal producer would put it usually.
In some of our songs, we've already done this in the past, but in this song in particular too, we will do like a full master cut where we do like a hard wall cut just straight to zero. And telling an engineer to do that, they're like, what? You're not supposed to do that.
Well, Seger knows how to do that.
But even with him though, it was like we had to like kind of get him to do it correctly the way we wanted to, and then also like position it the right way and stuff. So we're pretty particular about the way we do things.
He did it, but there was still just a little bit of tail, and we're like just that anal about everything.
Yeah.
And
be a hard wall,
Seger's really open to it. Like he's like was really great to work with because there was never a point where any bad feelings were there. It's just like, like he was actively like, I want you to be particular.
He's very professional.
I want you to be like as particular as you want to be, so we can get the product to.
Dude, he brings such a refreshing level of professionalism to the scene. Like I don't look at him at all as like a local band guy or anything like that, man. He's doing amazing work, man. And
he actively like fights being a professional musician. I feel like because Hard Reset's so good, like they could do whatever they wanted to. If they tried.
They could,
but they just like don't really give a fuck. It seems like so
it's hard to play a show after they play.
They're so good, man.
Oh, yeah, I would not want to follow them up.
No, because their shows.
We did
are
one
so
time, and it was hard.
Yeah, people stuck around, but like, and I think they don't like having this reputation. But it just kind of goes to show how sick they are. I mean, shoot, I'm wearing their hat right now. But they, people tend to leave after Hard Reset plays because. hard reset play.
They go for hard reset, yeah.
You know, and there could be really good bands on after them, but their live energy is just so good.
Sick band.
Yeah.
They're like episode. I'm gonna forget the episode, but just find it. Find the hard reset episode.
Right. But yeah, but going back to the snare recording stuff. When we first got the first version of the mix, the snare was not there at all. Like the ping was not in the right spot. So like I was just like,
we wanted it
pushing,
uglier.
like trying to get it, like get this ping there. We were missing the ping, and then at a certain point, I had to tell Seger, I was like, I want you to make the ping so aggressive that you think I'm gonna hate it. And that's where it's at now.
Now it seems sick, dude.
At that point, we didn't make any further
point, it was
changes.
perfect.
We were like, nice.
Honestly, when I first heard it, I was like, damn, I kind of do hate it, but I love it because I hate it.
Oh,
like,
people are gonna fucking love that snare. Now,
I do. It's
people
great.
like ugly stuff, like that, like individual character. Like if you clean stuff up a little too much, it gets to a point where it loses its humanity and it kind of just starts to sound the same as everything else.
Yeah.
It's, you know, people don't really pay that much attention to production quality that aren't musicians themselves. So they just want a good song at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And production can help accomplish that emotion. You know, obviously if you have a terrible mix, a lot of your otherwise pretty well written song is going to get lost because people just hate the way it sounds. But sometimes those really ugly sounds, like, I don't know, the New Rain by Born of Osiris, the original recordings of that.
Yeah.
Trash. Utter trash.
Yeah.
But I love it so much because it takes me back to that time and because it worked. It got that idea across pretty well.
So did you end up layering any samples of different snare samples over your snare?
To be honest, I don't know. So like the mix was kind of like very hands off for us this time around. Like when we worked with Connor Mowry, who was our mixing engineer for all of our catalog so far.
Shout out.
Except for the first song, Thomas Rodriguez did that one, formerly from Divisive. But yeah, so Connor, we did a lot more hands-on mixing at his house. We tracked all the drums at my house.
Kind of backseat driving them.
And
we want this done. We want that done.
And then with Seger, it was more like Seger worked on stuff, sent us a mix, and then we would do a bunch of notes. It was very much like online.
I love that.
Yeah. Just a lot of stuff. So I don't know if he did. I know we had tracked like samples of my snare and everything when I was there, and I'm sure he probably did. But everything is like samples of my drums, if there are samples. So
sounds like an acoustic drum kit, man. Like
that's what I was going for.
But awesome,
beefed up.
Yeah, but beefed up.
We try to get the original take as good as possible, so we'd have to do minimal like edits and stuff. Of course, nobody's above like nudging stuff here and there. It's for a recording.
Well, the bell part I actually played wrong.
You missed a snare. We did have to plant a snare in there.
Yeah, but other than that, yeah. So
dude,
how dare I?
What the heck, bro?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, what's coming up next for you guys? Are you writing more music? Do you already have some stuff coming down?
Well, the biggest thing
the
biggest thing we had like to reveal was like BRANTRON joining the band, and we kind of we were like working with Adam on this new single, but with him leaving, we had like kind of a plan for some kind of release this year, but we were like, with him leaving, and if we're gonna find a new guitar player, we kind of want to like try maybe incorporating the new guitar player in the new material instead of like trying to force material with Adam with him leaving anyway, So for us, it was just like we had to kind of position where we wanted to be this year, and we were thinking like let's push hard for the single, and then with BRANTRON coming in, we can maybe collab with him and maybe working on another single or two, and then maybe an EP or something in the future. But yeah, that's kind of been like our biggest like struggle right now is we just needed to get a new member in the band.
Yeah. So. Well, especially since Adam's DNA and his style of writing is it's such a big part of Ignite Hell. So we figured, this is like the perfect opportunity to give him like a really great send off. Like, bam, here's one last song. We got a music video for it. The music video comes out the day after the show. So like 2 days after the actual release. And I'm really excited about the video because it's all like self-produced and like
it's really
James
well
did all
done,
the editing
man.
for it and filmed it, or at least any part that he wasn't drumming in. And or being a caveman. Well, technically you filmed the caveman shot too because you put it on a tripod.
Yeah.
We were actually there's definitely some stories to tell about the filming of this music video.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Talk about it.
So,
This guy caught himself on fire and broke his ankle.
Yeah.
During the video shoot.
I didn't break my ankle. Technically, it was a sprain, but it was a very bad sprain. Okay. It was a bad enough sprain that I couldn't put any weight on it for like a couple days.
Because you were ooga boogieing?
Yes. I was dressed as a caveman, moshing, spin kicking and stuff. And then I just landed on my ankle horribly. It's in the video. It's actually in there. And we had to work it into the caveman plot because...
we couldn't finish the caveman shot without him limping around. So we were like, we have to like incorporate this as part of the story now. Yeah. Which it actually worked out great. So
it did end up working out. But yeah, so I did catch my hair on fire as well. My wig, my caveman wig. I was waving around a torch, like a caveman would.
Yeah.
And a fleck of it fell off into my hair. And it was so late. This was like the first round that we were shooting caveman shots.
It's like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Oh my God.
We had shot all day or like...
Where did you guys do this at?
We did it at my parents' property. It's like an hour
in Cumberland
outside
Furnace.
of Nashville. It's in Cumberland Furnace. Probably not too far from here. Probably like 20, 30
You brought
minutes.
the furnace to Cumberland Furnace, my dude.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, it was like 1 a.m.
I didn't even make that connection. The song's called Ignite Hell. And
that's hilarious.
It's very much fire themed.
Where the hell is Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee?
It's like between here and Dixon. Clarksville and Dixon. Yeah, so
it's a smaller.
Yeah, it's a really small.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if it's a town. It's just like a area they call Cumberland Furnace, I guess.
But yeah, we had been chopping down trees to build this huge fire that was what, like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet, 10, 12 feet tall.
It had to be at least 10 to 15 feet tall. Yeah.
And getting the whole set together, doing the whole self-produced music video thing. So we were pretty exhausted because we had done all of the performance shots for that day already. Everybody else had left. It was just me and James in front of this fire in caveman suits, caveman costumes. It was like probably 40, 45 degrees, 50, something like that. It was pretty cold.
It was early March. Yeah, it was really cold.
It was quite cold. And just dead tired. It was probably 2 a.m.
Yeah, 1 or 2 in the morning.
1 or 2 in the morning. So he was, he had the camera on me and he's like, Taylor, your hair's on fire. You're on fire. Taylor, your hair's on fire. Take your fucking wig off. Your hair's on fire. And I just did not register what was going on. I was that out of it.
He thought I was like joking with him.
I thought he was joking, I guess, for a second.
I was like pointing my camera at him and I'm like, you're on fire. You're on fire. And I had like Taylor, you're on fire. Like,
Taylor, you're on fire. Take your fucking wig off.
You thought you were trying to like get, pump him up to get the best performance.
He's like, thanks, bro. I'm killing it right now.
Like, oh, yeah, dude.
You're on fire, bro.
You're on fire. You're fire. You are fire. You're on fire.
Yeah.
It's great. Spin for me.
Yeah, and then we get pulled over by a cop on the way back too.
Well, that was the second time around. So then we had to go back for shoot.
That was after I smashed my ankle. The second time I smashed my ankle.
Yeah.
And yeah. And we got pulled over by a cop.
We got pulled over for
back,
which is so funny. I got pulled over for speeding, and then I went to court, and they dismissed it because the judge was like, "You weren't even like really speeding that much." I was like,
"It was like
I know."
It was like 11 over.
Well, it was a 50 mile an hour, and I was going 62, and I thought I was in the 55, so I thought I was going like 6 or 7 mile an hour over. Anyway, the cop was an asshole about it, but we got pulled over while he had like his broken ankle like propped up in my car.
I was like, "This guy's got to give us a break." He's like, "I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to like rest up so I can go to an urgent care tomorrow." And of course he just still is like holding us up.
Yeah.
Like at 2 in the morning.
They have to make quotas, man.
Or whatever,
they have to get their numbers up, and
he had kind of an ego about it.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like I see so much reckless driving on Nashville highways, and it's like, do those people ever get pulled over and caught?
Oh no, literally.
But the guy going 10, 11 over is the one who gets pulled over. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I see.
Well, so frustrating too because they dismissed everything, and then I still had to pay like $170 in court fees, and I'm like, bullshit.
All right,
that sucks, dude.
I mean, it was whatever. I'll take that over getting a ticket, but
But yeah, after all the trials and tribulations, we got it done, and we were able to do it all ourselves without, with minimal outside help. We had Oliver, our photographer, out like taking pictures and helping us like hold the camera.
Yeah, it was actually perfect. He got a bunch of the shots of me playing drums.
Yeah, he got the album cover,
and then he got the picture of the fire for the cover art as well.
Yeah,
which we were having some fun with that because we were having him take photos and we were throwing a bunch of diesel on the fire and it was just blowing up in the air and it was
we got the fire looks sick in the video. Man.
Thanks, man.
It's pretty sick.
Hell yeah!
It turned out pretty good. We were kind of worried about that because fire is definitely this like
unpredictable element.
It's a very unpredictable element and it's hard to keep the fire going to the same rate the whole time. So we were just absolutely going through so much diesel, so much wood that we had chopped down.
Yeah, we went through like 12 gallons of diesel, I think, for that whole shoot or something like
Yeah,
that.
oh my gosh,
So we were just-
that's expensive.
We were just chucking it on the fire, and then it would. And
Shoot, get it.
yeah. And then there was this scene that we filmed for the Caveman saga where, like, I find some meat that I share with my caveman buddy because we're friends, you know. And then
Because I saved your ankle, I helped your.
Yeah, that's
ankle,
right,
So you're repaying me.
Yeah, I'm repaying you for saving me from my shattered ankle, which is, you know, of course, thing we had to throw in the plot last minute.
Shattered ankle.
But basically, yeah, some of the diesel got on the meat, so the meat was like
so
diesel
funny.
flavored meat.
So funny story. I had the
Diesel marinated.
I had the steak like in my car. It had been in my freezer. It was like a bad piece of meat that was like defrosted and refrosted, whatever. I was gonna eat it, but it's still frozen. So I was like, let me put it next to the fire and let it like defrost a little bit so we can use it in the plot and it won't be like hard as a rock. And then as I was throwing diesel on the fire, I didn't realize I had like been pouring it all over the steak.
Yeah, marinating the steak
so
with diesel.
we went to go use it and it just like smelled like diesel the whole time we were.
It was so gross. Like trying to hold it, I was like, oh,
It was pretty nasty. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was good
Man,
stuff.
it's a great video. It's super sick to watch, and I'm actually the whole time we've been talking, I'm like, I want to watch that again.
Oh yeah,
I know.
you're welcome
I'm
to.
not kidding, man. Like it's gonna be if it's not on Metal Sucks, like within a week of it coming out, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. It needs to be on there.
You got
like,
an email.
Like,
Yeah, you know, connect.
You got to
seriously.
connect.
Like I wish I did, man.
I wish we
so
did too.
you're talking about you got BRANTRON in the band. You're going to be writing music with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You didn't think it made sense to just keep writing with Adam as he's kind of moving on. Do you think the sound is going to deviate a lot from this Ignite Hell song, or like what do you kind of expect to happen like working with BRANTRON?
We're pretty open-minded. BRANTRON came in saying that he's already a fan of the music that we make, which is a great compliment coming from somebody as talented as he is.
But one of his favorite bands is Car Bomb, so.
But yeah,
Heck yeah, dude.
one of our bigger influences is definitely Car Bomb for all the metric modulation stuff and all just
For sure.
just throwing the kitchen sink at every song that you can. You know, everything has to be just ridiculous over the top. I really like that.
Mhm.
But it still feels balanced with them. But anyways, he didn't want to come in guns blazing and kind of change things too much. And we would like to get him involved though, especially in his lead skills, like his just improv solo ability. We're probably going to incorporate more like improv-y sections of our set now.
You should, man. Not very few metal bands actually do that.
Yeah.
Well, we already kind of do that a little bit, like because Nick has his piano for like parasocial intoxication.
But now we'll have two people doing it.
But he's got he's got the ability like within our live show where we have like the show pauses and he can just improvise while Taylor talks a little bit. So like I mean having a jazz pianist and saxophone player and guitar player as well as another classically trained and jazz guitar player as well is going to be
it'd be really cool.
a whole nother dynamic.
Have like a reset, part where it kind of just vibes out or whatever.
Well, he could Nick could go to piano and comp some chords while BRANTRON solos.
Yeah.
And you could have some kind of crazy
Definitely
gent groove going on. Like there's just so many possibilities with
Dissonation in general is
this crew.
always we're always down to experiment with new things. There's nothing that is
There's no clean vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to do clean vocals. Maybe we'll do them someday, but
I do like vocoder vocals.
we did vocoder vocals on the last song.
there's
There's
a
a
little bit in the new
part
song,
where there's a little bit of vocoder in it, but
Still scripted, though.
we're not too closed off to off the wall ideas. If it exists, there's a way we can put it in and make it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say though, like historically, our writing process has been a lot of the riffs have started with Taylor. Like, Ignite Hell is like kind of a unique situation where Adam was like trying really hard to get some of his riffs in some of the songs because a lot of this like prior material we've written was like Taylor's riffs that he tried to throw together into a song. Then I came in and restructured stuff, and then Nick put his top lines over it, and then we had a song. So with Adam joining the band later, because it was me, Nick, and Taylor, or me, Taylor, and then Nick joined originally as like the three core members. Adam coming in later, he was trying to help write some stuff and
like
get
find his place in the band,
in the band and stuff. So that's really where he came through with Ignite Hell, because a lot of those riffs were really sick. So
Adam did contribute a lot to.
He had a bunch of solos and stuff, like the Scorn solo. And,
yeah, he had a few riffs as well. But we had so much space already filled with the band. I think it's not a slight towards Adam whatsoever in his playing, because I wanted him in the band particularly because I liked his playing quite a lot. Yeah. And I liked his riffs.
Yeah, he knew him from North Carolina.
Yeah, what's weird is I played a show with my old metalcore band over 10 years ago. I think it was like 2013 in Raleigh. His old band, Exalted.
Yeah.
Nick Cross was the singer of that band.
Right, Nick's a North Carolina guy too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm from Raleigh, and they're from like Elizabeth City, Greenville kind of area. And so weirdly enough, I remembered seeing him play and thinking that he was an absolute ripper, and then came here and then eventually started Dissonation, and we put out Demon Eyes, and then Adam hits me up like, yo, like, I like this song. If you ever need anybody on guitar, just let me know. I was like, we actually literally do need somebody on guitar.
We're begging you. We need a guitar player so bad.
I actually already love your playing so much. So that worked out super well.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And I mean, as far as member changes goes, this has been the smoothest and least dramatic possible way that could happen. That's been nice.
It's been about as good as you could ask for.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's been cool to see things come together for you guys, and I'm really excited for the new song. I'm excited for the show. If you guys got like a tour offer, would that be something you'd be able to do, or that you would want to do this summer or this fall or early next year?
I think it would just depend, because I have a full-time job. Nick has a full-time job. Taylor obviously quit his full-time job, and I don't think BRANTRON has a full-time job, right?
He's mostly doing gig.
Yeah, he does gig stuff, and he does his Twitch streaming and stuff like that. So Taylor and BRANTRON are obviously a lot more flexible. I work remotely, so I could probably make it happen. And then I know Nick works remotely too, but he has a lot more.
But he's also trying to leave his job, sort of.
Nick has more limited time off, but again, yeah, he's a lot more willing to leave his job than I am, I will say. So like, if that were to happen, I would make it work. If we got the right offer, I would definitely make it work.
Yeah, we're not really apt to take a small tour or like try to headline our own tour around and like, I like just try to do local sandwiches in random cities all over the place. I would love to do that, like, a lot, but I think we're just kind of waiting for an actual offer where we can piggyback off of a larger band's tour and be a supporting act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has to make sense financially, and like, it might even be better just to keep building stuff online.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is like, as much as like I love touring and everything, like it's got to make sense, right? Like, I want to tour and everything, but like we've had a lot of success with just focusing on building our content online. We played Louder Than Live like 6 months after we started the band. Like, it's kind of crazy, but like just the amount we've been able to get like traction wise online, like it doesn't make sense for me to go out and like do all these shows when like we're able to like get our exposure, and like we have so many people like in our corner now that like we never expected to even like know about us in the first place, and like we've all only done that like just with what we've done online. Yeah. We haven't had to go out and tour and stuff to get attention from the people we're looking to get attention from. So for us, I think like it just makes sense to like keep kind of doing what we're doing. And I mean, obviously Taylor's had a lot of success with his social media stuff, and now we can use that platform to help promote the band as well. And yeah, I think for us, again, we have a lot of stuff going on. If we could get the right offer, we would make it happen. But
definitely,
we're not in a rush to like be a full-time band that like tours the world. Like for us, we just love making music, man. If we can turn this into something where we can make a little money off of it and do what we love, then great, you know. But you know, I
mean, best case scenario, we all just get to do this full time. I mean, that'd be sick.
Yeah. But worst case scenario, we keep doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're having fun with the way we're doing things now, so we're definitely not desperate to just be on the road and be kind of a slave to the road almost. But we're definitely trying to plan maybe small runs where we do like a couple shows, you know, a little weekender type of thing, maybe an extended weekend.
That's kind of the beauty of being in Nashville, man, is you can go north, you can go
touring
east,
would be fun, though. I mean, I would definitely enjoy. I would love to mark that off the bucket list at some point here. But yeah, it just does have to be the right offer, because things are working pretty well for us without that at the current moment. So it does suck kind of being in Nashville, because Nashville isn't particularly close to the other cities. It's not like you can just it's a pretty big commitment to go to the next place you can play a show. Whereas in North Carolina, where I'm from, you can drive an hour and like you're already in another place that's a whole other scene.
See, I think Nashville's kind of convenient. I'm from the West Coast, where it's like 8 hours
even further.
It's like it's way worse.
The Northeast has it the best for that kind of thing, because you could just be bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if you're up in like
Boston,
Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New Jersey, but Nashville is kind of strategically located so that you could start a tour by going to Atlanta.
A lot of tours start here or end here, I've noticed.
Yeah, totally.
We drop their tour bus rental back off here.
Yeah. It's probably because a lot of them either live here or
a couple of tours that I have.
There's industry stuff going down.
Yeah, man.
Their practice space might be here, or they need to meet with their management or something. Yeah.
I've noticed that. Like I saw like the Knock Loose guys were down here rehearsing before their Slipknot tour.
Yeah.
Like this.
Well, they're in Louisville, so it's like that's barely that's what, 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah. Well, still, I mean, they could have a rehearsal space in Louisville, but they just come to Nashville.
I'd imagine
it makes sense,
right?
Well, yeah. I mean, probably, but again, they were here rehearsing for that tour, so it's probably because they have other reasons to be here, like Pure Noise is here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I want to.
It's interesting what brings people to Nashville.
How do you get the invite to the Knock Loose Airbnb?
Well, you just got to know some guys, Well, dudes, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited for what you guys have going on.
Thanks,
man. The new song is a ripper. It's super sick. Support these guys. If you like what they do, buy some merch, come to a show, hit them up online. Follow these guys on social media. Taylor, if you need a voice lesson, if you want to learn how to do the scrams and the growls,
hit me up.
Hit him up. If you like shred sessions, if you like the show, please share it in your Reddit metal forums and around YouTube and stuff like that on your social media. It would help me out a lot. The viewership is small but mighty, and I thank anybody for checking the show out. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I'm having a great time having people over to our house. I think we're gonna have like Italian beef tonight, so we're gonna eat some food now.
The tacos were so sick last time.
Yeah, you remember those, man.
I
That's
do.
hilarious. So my wife is a great chef, so thanks, Courtney, for cooking for these guys. But dudes, thanks for hanging out. This is a great conversation.
Absolutely.
I'll see you guys on the next shred session. Peace.